Hi to whoever is listening. So it's Tuesday, and I have something that I just want to share with whoever is listening. And let's just get into it. So I feel that I want to talk about fear. I don't know who you are. I don't know what you've gone through. I don't know the circumstances of your life, and I don't know how you were raised. But there was a time when I was growing up, I was quite fearless. I mean, when I think about it now, I really had some, some kahunas on me. And I remember distinctively, it was the year 2015, and I had, full disclosure and full honesty, I don't know, but I was in a point in my life where, for some reason, I thought that I could take the elevator instead of the stairs. So I did something where I should have been more truthful and honest about where I was lacking instead of going straight ahead and thinking that I wouldn't get caught up, So that's a lesson. For anyone out there, never ever think that you can take the shortcuts, the short way. You can take the elevator. Trust and believe that you're going to get exposed. And that's exactly what happened. I got exposed. So, because of that exposure, I really suffered a huge setback in the sense of how I thought about myself, how I thought the people around me thought about me, and I just felt like I was the biggest idiot ever, I couldn't believe that my plan to be a cheat, in essence, would not cheating on someone, but cheating at something, But cheating is cheating anyway, but that's neither here nor there. But I was cheating at something, and I thought I wouldn't get caught out, and I did. And because of that, I just felt like such an absolute failure in such a way that at the time, I just kind of pushed it under the rug and thought, it's not that deep, it's not going to bother me, but it did. And it did affect me. And I kept carrying on this farce, I kept masquerading as someone who wasn't bothered when I was. I kept masquerading as someone who wasn't hurt or finally caught out, but I was. So from that year of 2015, instead of actually sitting down and formulating a plan on how to get myself back on track, I decided to get into a relationship. I got into a relationship with someone I had no business getting into a relationship with. And to be honest, it was a way of completely ignoring what I had to do for myself. I had this thing in my mind that this new relationship was going to save me and redeem me, and I was just going to completely erase the fact that I have something that I need to sort out, and pretending like it didn't exist and just hyper-focusing on this new relationship, of which naturally it didn't last. It couldn't have, And I got into a huge depression after that. And I realized that it wasn't just about my relationship ending, because, to be honest, it needed to end, and I knew that. But it was compounded by the fact that this Band-Aid that I thought I was going to use to cover what I had been previously ignoring didn't actually work. Not only now am I having to face the failure of what I left behind, but now it's also the failure of a relationship that I literally shouldn't have even been looking for. So because of that time and because of that mentality, it left me fearful. The once brave and fearless person that I was shrank into someone who was just afraid. I was literally scared of everything, everyone. I wouldn't leave my room. The world felt so cruel to me. And in that time, I didn't have the hindsight of recognizing that actually some of these things, actually not some, both of these things were self-inflicted, But I just believe that obviously these were lessons that I was supposed to learn, and my God, was it tough? And now I'm at a point where I'm regaining that strength back. I'm regaining that understanding that actually, maybe even back then, it's not that I wasn't fearless. I did have fear, but I did it anyway. So I think I'm just coming back to that understanding of actually, I'm just going to have to do it. I'm just going to have to do it scared. I'm just going to have to do it feeling fear, because there's no absence of fear. Fear is there. It's even a biological response. So it's not something that I can eliminate. But what I do understand now is that I just need to forge forward despite the fear. And it's taken me almost 7 years to get to this understanding. And because I'm finally here, I just want to give glory to God. I just want to give glory to my Creator, because I was so lost. And I was so ashamed, and I felt so much guilt. And just the reality of looking back at a previous mistake and realizing that at this point in my life, I should have been farther, I should have had certain things that my peers have. But because I don't, it also allowed me to be humble and to understand that as humans, we make mistakes, and we will bounce back if we have an intention to, but that our bouncing back might take days, weeks, months, or even years, which has been the case for me. And I'm just learning to have grace and compassion for myself, and also to liberate myself from all of this guilt that I've been feeling. And one of the ways that I'm doing this is by either writing out my experiences, or even like what I'm doing now, speaking about it. There was a time where I couldn't even dare to think about voicing out what I've been through, how it made me feel, and my failures, And yes, so this is just for someone who has gone through some things, and you just feel like you're scared of the world, and you're scared of putting yourself out there, and you're scared of trying again. I am standing here with you on a journey, embarking to no longer let fear prison me, no longer letting fear define me, no longer letting fear control me, because it has literally controlled me for the past 7 years. And it's crazy to me how our own minds can be our biggest enemy, because all of what I'd been thinking, believing, had been mostly in my mind, because people will always say what they say. People will always give their opinions, but they're not the point. People cannot be your source. They don't matter. What matters is what you think about yourself and the thoughts that run in your mind and the things that you tell yourself about yourself, the things that you believe. And it's so easy to fall into a victim mentality, and it's so difficult to work yourself out of a victim mentality, because at some point it becomes safe, it's comfortable, it's reassuring, and you also get that sense of you can justify your pain, you can just feel and think, you know what, I'm in this, so I'm just going to feel it, and woe is me. And I completely understand anyone who feels like that, because even now, after 7 years, I have to consciously tell myself, actually, whoa. I think you're going down a road of thinking of yourself as a victim, and you're not, Even that effort to reprogram my thinking is something that I'm working with even now, something I believe we all work with, and something that we will always work with, because healing is constant. You don't get to a point where, for me, in my case, it's been 7 years, but I don't think that I'm completely healed. I am continuously healing. So, yes, this is just something I wanted to share with someone out there who might glean from it, who might feel validated by it, who might feel a sense of community, because one thing's for sure is that it's healthy and it's so important to have people around you that can support you and can validate you, even in your weakness. Even when you are down in the dumps, it's okay, and it's good for someone to tell you, okay, you know what, you're not being the best version of yourself, but whilst you're still here, I will try and understand where you are coming from. I won't judge you, and I can even relate to you, So that's just me. And yes, so thank you for listening, and I hope this brings clarity to someone who's dealing with fear, as we all deal with fear on an everyday basis.